what a lot of people that don't know this organization assume is that Top Gun pilots are egotistical and only think about themselves. In reality, everyone here is extremely humble. They're approachable, and it's an honor to work next to these guys every single day. You hear kids say, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a professional basketball player. To me, this was up there. I'd always have posters up in my room and just kind of dream of flying airplanes. My dad also would take me to air shows when I was younger, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. Growing up, I thought my chances of becoming a fighter pilot in general was kind of a long shot. There's very, very few of us who actually get chosen to do this, and I'd never seen anybody that looked like me that did what I wanted to do. But once I started taking those steps, committed myself, took that leap of faith, I got closer and closer to that dream. 3, 2, 1, hack. Gents, welcome to the TAC 2.X Red Air Brief. Going through the Top Gun course, it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was grueling. It was 13 weeks of pain, but everybody had the same goal and they had the same determination and drive. We all just kind of leaned on each other at that point and looked to each other for motivation. All right, gents, thanks for your time. We'll plan to check in on TAC 5 Ox at 10:45. Being in the aircraft, sometimes it's nervousness, a lot of times it's adrenaline. Some of the flying that we do, is a little bit more risky, but being able to execute those tactics, that's an extremely fulfilling experience.
If you would have told me that one day I'd have the opportunity to be on the Top Gun staff, pretty sure I wouldn't have believed you. The whole goal of Top Gun is we essentially teach the teachers, and that's been true since our founding over 50 years ago.
Good morning, I'm Stu Whipkey, call sign Gizmo. Welcome to AIM 120 Chalk Talk.
Top Gun basically was founded as an organization to where we bring aircrew from the fleet who are doing well, and we'll teach them our techniques and then send them back to their squadron so they share these tactics, techniques with the rest of the fleet. As a Top Gun instructor, one thing I try to remember is where I was when I first showed up on day one. I had this expectation that I may not be good enough. One, because we work long hours, typically 6, sometimes 7 days a week. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. I think that is one of the driving factors that makes us want to work harder and continue to improve ourselves, improve our students, and make sure that our brand going forward is something that we continue to be proud of and something that's respected.
Can I please get a round of applause for Top Gun Class 0120?
How we're getting better in the aircraft really comes down to what mission's set. Air to surface or any kind of bombing runs. Air to air, where we're actually out there, again, you with a wingman or maybe you with 3 wingmen in a division. It's just mission rehearsal. time we go fly, there's always something that can be improved, always something that we can work on.
I say nothing can completely prepare you for how busy and how difficult the course is, but we don't dwell on that because you're flying with some of the best pilots in the entire world. It is definitely a strong bond between all the instructors here. And even though we just spent, 5 14-hour days together, it's still fun to hang out together on the weekends. Family time is precious here, no matter how it's spent. It's time that you never get back, so you want to ensure that you're there 100%. Eat it? Hi. Who are you calling? Oh, hi, do you want to talk to Arya? All right, here she is. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises. The way I want my daughter to remember me is not just as a pilot, but also just the dad who was there for her. I could be the coolest guy in the world, but if I wasn't a good father, that's what will be remembered. Also, I do want her to embody the love of aviation that I've enjoyed and maybe do this someday herself. Same token, as a naval aviator, I don't think that there is an attainable goal of a level of execution that I think that I will ever reach. The most dangerous misconception for a Top Gun instructor is to think that they have arrived and that they are as good as they need to be, because we are not in the business of good enough.
My name is Kyle Haith.
My name is Stu Whipkey.
My name is Orion Kelly,
And I'm a Top Gun instructor
in the United States Navy.
Yeah, and then her blood pressure on precipitation was 68, 36 millimeters of mercury. Yeah, she had a pulse of 1 to 2 beats per minute.
I grew up here in Liberia, in the capital city, Monrovia. When I was growing up, I woke up one morning and my sister was on the floor whispering to me. And she says, "Oh, you can get up, but you have to roll on into the floor. You can't stand up." What I didn't realize was happening was that someone was trying to take over the government. So you couldn't be seen by the window. Potentially you could be shot. We had a fantastic life here. We were very comfortable. But my parents made that sacrifice for us to go to the US. And, we were lucky to leave before the start of the Civil War. At the time, I didn't know these things were happening. I was just kind of happy to be going to school. It was only after I joined the Navy at 18 that I really kind of started to understand the war. On deployment, my ship went to Brazil. I met a Liberian who was in Rio. And that's why I was like, wow, that's when I really first realized how displaced people were doing the war. So after that deployment, I wanted to work with like refugees and displaced people.
Morning, how are you doing?
That's how I started turning to medicine.
35.9.
You need help? Okay.
10 fingers. Yeah.
Does it be tingling too?
Yeah, very normal. I feel a numbness.
Numbness. For how long you think? I used to clean toilets in the Navy before when I first joined. It's been completely amazing to have come up through the ranks and be a doctor.
Yeah, they need to watch that fluid.
Yeah.
She's really wet on the right side.
The military has a tropical medicine program where we go to several countries, work with the local doctors on how to manage diseases.
Yeah.
India, Thailand, Brazil, Tanzania, Honduras. I've been to almost 40 countries. And then it's gone a direction I hadn't thought it would go, which is to bring me back home. The whole nation as a whole, I don't think has healed. That's why I feel like I must come back and help. When I took over the position as the director of the program, I established a field mission here so I could bring doctors here. My name is Dr. Declan T. Adams with the U.S. Navy. I'm a naval officer. I've been fortunate to come to Phoebe to work, bringing a team of doctors to observe tropical medicine cases. When people think about Liberia, they think about our civil wars and they think about Ebola. I want to do something about that. Imagine being in the shoes of some of these doctors and nurses who are treating people every day. Some places not having gloves, not having medications in the pharmacy. We're trying to build capacity and capability for the hospitals that we work with. And we'll also provide academic exchange.
So the first lecture is medical waste. That's
So
important for
we
all
give
of us.
some lectures, they also give us some lectures.
We do everything. We have 2 doctors assigned to me.
You know, just trying to have a positive influence on people's lives. I still feel that I'm not doing enough because I'm only here 2 weeks. But I do use medicine to accomplish other goals. Sometimes I bring books. Sometimes it's like an art or a literature workshop.
How you doing?
This time I'm funding like a dance contest.
Anybody that wants to dance can come on stage and can dance.
So even though I give myself a hard time about not doing enough, I also appreciate that doing something small is also impactful. When you think about the military, think about the Navy, you think about conflict. I didn't know about all the global health engagement activities we're involved in. And it's been a pleasant surprise. It's been a wonderful experience and opportunity to come back home. But I hope Liberia gets to a point where it's not relying on development and aid, where it's self-sufficient. To get all the experiences that I have around the world and getting to come home, I realized that sometimes all it takes is one act in somebody's life to change the course of their life. And so that's why you can't stop. because you don't know what act it's going to be. My name is Nikanti Adams. I'm an infectious diseases physician in the United States Navy.
We are the Navy's best kept secret, and we're protecting something larger than us. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I was 19, cutting meat part-time, which turned into full-time. I didn't have a defined idea of what I wanted to do. And the Navy recruiter showed me what SWIC was, and that's what got me hooked. SWIC's motto is on time, on target. The hours that we put in preparation allow us to maintain that standard. SWIC, or Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewmen, are the Navy's elite maritime operation force. We work closely with SEALs and all other special operation forces. We specialize in insertion and extraction in a clandestine manner. It doesn't seem like it's a job. I've done 3 deployments, and as an instructor, it's this great feeling passing on that knowledge to the newest person in your detachment.
Hit the one, set! Kelly target, cleared hot! Click, click, click!
Not everyone gets to say that they get to drive boats, shoot guns, and jump out of airplanes for their job. And then also pursuing school, bettering myself. The Navy has afforded me that opportunity, and I'm grateful for it. Having a steadfast home life allows me to do the things that we do. I love to draw, create, and design, which crossed over into some of the woodworking that I do. I always push myself to try and learn something new every day. And I believe that comes from this push to always better myself on and off duty. Then you wake up and you go back and you do it again. At 24, I decided to write a new chapter in my life. My biggest achievement was not only the day that I was pinned as a SWIC operator, but when I was given the opportunity to come back as an instructor and pay that forward. My name is Nick O'Sullivan, and I am a SWCC operator in the United States Navy.
More times than often, life is neither pretty nor is it easy. But I just stopped on this morning to tell you, hold on, there is still good news.
If that is your prayer today, if you believe in Christ by faith in Jesus, guess what? You are saved. Maybe you're saying,
In the Black community, Black church is that foundation for us. It's that one thing that we somewhat have a little control over, and so we hold on near and dear to it.
Thank you, Lord, for this time of fellowship. Thank you, God, for allowing my grandmama to do what she does best, and that's prepare a meal. Now, Lord, I ask that you bless it. This prayer we ask in your holy name. Amen. Amen.
Living with my grandparents as a result of my mom's addiction, the church became my way of escape. But it got old showing up on Sunday mornings to talk to the people who seemed to have no issues. You know, everything was always great. They were always blessed and highly favored when I knew that was not the case. At the time, I had no idea that my grandfather was suffering with cancer. And just seeing my grandparents take the tone of prayer, that was their way of combating issues.
Lord, we come to you this morning, Lord, just giving you all the praise, giving you all the glory. Thanking you, Lord, for just...
The next year he died. How do you deal with when it feels like God has broken your heart? I couldn't just pray away grief. I need to add a different perspective. It was 2010 where I met my very first military chaplain.
Personal resiliency.
He said, as a Navy chaplain, we facilitate care for all. You don't have to believe what I believe or who I believe in. We serve in the capacity of counselors and we are advisors. Just listening to him, I knew then, like, man, this is what I want to do. As a chaplain, I would be able to just have more flexibility to broaden my theology and help people who are grieving. Good morning. I am Chaplain Autumn Wilson. So I just want to talk about the times that we are living in. COVID is a challenge for all of us. Even as a chaplain, I can't say to you that I have it all together. As a lieutenant, I can't say to you that I have it all together. But guess what? We all are on our way. Don't allow COVID to make you stagnant. And so when they encounter me and they are in my presence, they know that there's going to be peace there. May God bless you and may God keep you. Thank you for sharing my little tidbit. Elbow it out. Sailors are faced with so much. The loss of a parent, divorce, relationships, punishment.
But I never got around to it because I was working chemical refinery.
And so as a chaplain, I've been able to just let sailors know that whatever they encounter, they are supported. You know that you want to do it, I say go for it. Don't let fear hinder or stifle you. It's okay not to be okay, rather than saying, oh, the Lord will make a way somehow. No, we're going to deal with the root of what it is that you're going through. You don't want to feel like you're pressured. Being a naval officer who's serving young men and women from all walks of life, I've learned that we all can bring something and be different. No one person wants to be like the next person.
And that's kind of what I grew up being told, that, you know, if you didn't believe in the same Jesus that we believed in, then you were not going to heaven.
Come on. How?
I get to teach my kids something different.
Hey, I'm here.
And I'm grateful that the Navy has afforded me the opportunity to do that.
You got to keep paddling. You can't give up. You can't give up. Keep paddling. Keep paddling.
Here. Yeah, take it. Take your suitcase.
Case.
Your suitcase. We're gonna go to Alabama.
Alabama.
Yes. And we're going to go see Granny. Put it in there.
Whenever it's time for me to transition back to Eufaula or go visit, if I can introduce someone to something new, then I've done my part. Be it a new way of thinking, be it a new way of stepping outside of their comfort zone, then I've served a purpose.
Church. This is where I started going to church. Yeah,
Our
this is
preacher
Mommy's
for
church.
today is none other than Lieutenant Autumn Wilson. Everybody say amen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. While I have your attention, I would like to speak from the topic, hold on. There is still good news. For 200 and plus days, we've had to shelter in, not socialize. And I don't know about you on this morning, but some days I found myself in an anxious state of being. But I just stopped on this morning to tell you, hold on, there is still good news. More times than often, life is neither pretty nor is it easy. There are times where we feel oppressed by the expectations of others, brokenhearted because of our loved ones who are no longer with us, captive to racism, sexism, and all other isms. We need to be a constant reminder in somebody's life that there is still good news in God. We cannot succumb to the fear that's all around us. Don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed, because joy comes in the morning. Hold on, St. John. There is still good news. Amen.
My mission is to show people that you're gonna deal with adversity, but you don't have to face it the way others say that you should. You create your own narrative and make it work for you. My name is Autumn Wilson, and I'm a chaplain in the United States Navy.
I don't really think I live like the true college life. Like, I don't go to parties or anything. I don't drink or anything like that. I don't really want to get involved into the whole being a kid again or anything. For me, it's just like I have one goal and I need to obtain it. For the most part, my mom would agree that I was a trouble child. I was kind of a bad student. It was really hard for me to study in school. People started to see that as me being selfish. I wouldn't help anybody out. I would just do my thing and disappear. There's no team player in me at all. I was graduating from high school. I had the opportunity to go to college, but it was unfortunately like a money issue. That's when I decided to go into the military and have them pay for my college once I got out. The way I got to be a Navy SEAL, or the way I got my contract to go to BUDS, is definitely not traditional. People usually go train for years and years. I kind of just picked it up right on the spot in boot camp. BUD stands for Basic Underwater Demolition School. It's 6 months. It's basically a gut check for anybody that wants to be a SEAL. You're just running, swimming, doing thousands of push-ups, sit-ups, obstacle courses, staying up late, being in the cold, wet and sandy, just anything the instructors want you to do. The type of people that made it through don't really care what challenges they face. They'll just keep going. Next one comes, they'll just solve it. They'll just keep going and keep going and keep going. Once I got into the SEALs, that was kind of the turning point that led me to realize that I need to be more for the team instead of myself. I was the breacher of the platoon, so any type of problem that's in the house that needs to be solved, like, that was my job. There's no way you could go in the house and clear every threat without the person to your right and to your left. So you have to count on other people that will have your back and do everything they can to protect you. I was going to be 24 when I got out. I wanted to be as young as I could and have the best chance that I could to become a football player. And I looked at like the top 25 schools in the country. And obviously Nebraska was there. My plan was, if I didn't make it on the Nebraska team, I was going to pack my bags and go to the next school, try out there, go to the next school, try out there. I think even though I didn't play football at all, they had a lot of respect just because of my background. That's when they gave me the chance. They're like, you have a couple days to prove yourself, and if you don't prove yourself, then you're off the team. Once I actually got on this team, I realized that I still have so much work to do. There's a lot of people that have been playing a lot longer than me. Everybody basically on the team is better than me. I didn't know the playbook or anything like that. It was like gibberish, like learning a new language, and that was pretty frustrating. I don't care about my past. I just throw that out the window. I don't use that in the locker room. I don't use that anywhere I go. Hopefully everybody could just see that I'm just another man trying to do my job and trying to be the best you can be.
His story is incredible. When you talk about some of the top 10 to 20% of the athletes in the country, you're going to find them on major Division I college football programs. And so for a guy to come in from the Navy SEALs, effectively never having really played football before, and find himself in the mix with those guys that just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen.
It's kind of the toughest sport in the United States. You can be, a real tough guy, but you have to have the athleticism. He's using the qualities he has, work ethic, toughness, mental fortitude, and he's breaking through some of those barriers.
One of the best things that Damien brings to this program and to this team is the mental toughness. He's learned the game, the X's and O's. This is where I line up and this is my assignment. And for him to do it and do it at a high speed, at a high level, is pretty impressive.
Being on a major college football team takes people out of their comfort zone. Anybody that's willing to step into that arena, they're built a little bit differently. Whether times are good or whether times are bad, whether we're up or we're down, he's the same guy giving the same effort all the time.
Anything you put on the bar, there's never a doubt in his mind that he's not going to attack it at full speed, and that's the part that you love.
How tight a team is has a direct correlation with how much you win. Every decision they make should be based on what's best for the guy to the left and the guy to the right. Having a guy like Damien that's lived that in a military setting is a great example for us to follow. A lot of our players on our football team in the history of Nebraska football are treated like heroes around the state of Nebraska. But I'd tell the kids in Nebraska, if you want a hero to look up to, it's Damien.
Nebraska, Damien Jackson, 26-year-old redshirt freshman, became a Navy SEAL after high school graduation, now a defensive lineman.
I'm obviously a lot older than everybody else on the team, and I've been through a whole job before I got here. I don't think it would make sense for me, like where I came from and what I've done, to just kind of sit back and try to do everything for myself. I don't know what my life would have been like if I didn't go into the military. I definitely wouldn't have came here to play football. I wouldn't have tried to better myself. You have to train hard, work hard, be humble, and work for others. And if I'm trying to be like a leader on the team, I definitely need to put the team first before me. Settings where there's high pressure, going out and playing in a game, being the breacher of the platoon. I don't really get scared for that. The things when I think I'm gonna disappoint somebody or fail myself, that's when I get scared. Quitting your job to go play like a college sport, that's far-fetched. But I think if you really want something, you can find a way to do it. My name's Damien Jackson. I'm a former Navy SEAL, and I play football for Nebraska.
I'm so grateful for this journey that the Navy has taken me on. Both when I was active duty and now I'm in the reserves. And I can step back and look at all these photos that I've taken and relive what has been an amazing career and adventure. Some of my earliest memories is being in my mother's dark room and just the smell of the chemicals and her creating an image. And that is when I truly fell in love with photography. You could create something out of nothing. After high school, I applied to go to the Pittsburgh Art Institute. I got accepted, but there was just no way I could afford it. So then I started working at this small local gas station. I love the people because it's a small town, you know the people who come in. But I knew I wanted to do more than my life than just work at a gas station. How can I be a photographer? How can I pursue this career field? That is when I'm just like, you know what? I need to do something different. I'm joining the military. I went to the Navy recruiting station. He said, okay, we have good news and we have bad news. Photography opened up. There's a spot. The bad news is you leave in 2 weeks. I said, put me on the bus. I am 100% on board. I am a mass communication specialist, also known as an MC. Our job is we tell the story of the Navy. We take photos, we do video, we write stories. We also document it for historical archives. When you look at the footage from D-Day, a military photographer took those images. So that's what we're doing, is we're preserving these moments that may seem mundane now, but in the future you never know what the significance is going to be. Not every shoot that you go on is going to be glamorous, action-packed. It's those jobs that don't seem like they would be historically significant that you truly find those moments that really separate what people think the Navy is and what it actually is. We're not just all big guns and big ships. We're people. And it's really important to show that that's who we are. But it's also important for the people I take the photos of. There we go, perfect. 1, 2, 3. They might be the best mechanic, there we go, but you could never know. What we do is we capture their hard work and we get to share it. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, gorgeous. By showing the human side of the Navy, you're showing the real side of the Navy. And that's why I believe it's so important to capture every moment that you can, as honestly as you can, and then share that. So after 8 years of being in the Navy, I found my husband, and I didn't want to be stationed away from him. But I really loved the Navy, and I didn't want to get out 100%. So instead of cutting ties entirely with the Navy, I transitioned to the reserves. Knowing that the reserves were there for me, I could still be a part of something that I love, but also I can start the second life as a public affairs officer of the Forest Service. I have this amazing career in the Navy that I still get to go on deployment, that I still get to feel like I'm a part of a team. But when I'm not serving my country in that capacity, I get to serve my country as a member of the Forest Service. When you look at being a part of the military and you look at being a civilian, at first you think they're two different worlds, but they're not. People are people. People are genuine, people are caring, people are loving. I love hearing their stories. 1, 2. And I really love experiencing something from somebody else's perspective. Everybody has a story worth telling. The trick is finding it. Being able to take pictures of someone to show them what they do and their contribution to either the Navy or society is amazing. I get the chance and the opportunity to show people their true worth, even if they don't always see it themselves. I'm Kathleen Gorby, and I'm a mass communications specialist for the United States Navy Reserves.
The sheer desire to help others, to just be a part of something outside yourself. It's innate in every one of us. Once I understood this, like my life changed. Both my parents were Air Force, so I guess you can call me an Air Force brat. Throughout my whole life, we just traveled from base to base. Man, I moved so much. It's like I'd build friendships and then those would dissolve and I'd have to rebuild new friendships. It was hard for me to find some sense of identity. Back home, I used to work for beach safety. And what that entailed was the lifeguarding for Okaloosa County's beaches and their swiftwater rescue team. I really found those roles rewarding. And when I started to look into the military and I came across the Navy and I came across rescue swimmer, I thought about those experiences and how I really liked helping people. I was like, man, this just sounds like me. This just sounds like something I could really dig into. I just took the time and the effort to applying myself to getting this role. I didn't want any ambiguity in like, hey, let's pick this guy. I knew what was needed of me, and I didn't want to just provide the minimums. I wanted to crush it.
Yeah, swim at him. Hey, swim at him. Front head hold release. There was no issues. Everything was secured. Nothing was tangled.
I couldn't wait to get in that kind of environment, to get in the helicopter and start doing search and rescue. So the motto of aviation rescue swimmers is so others may live. You're there face to face with somebody who is in need. And I got a sense of completeness from it. There might not be a constant immediate need for search and rescue. It was kind of a drag when I was like, wait, I'm not out there responding to calls every day. But as I progressed in the Navy, that motto, so others may live, started to find ways and other avenues of my life. And I realized it wasn't just a job, it was a lifestyle. It was who I am.
Our goal is not to run around, pass out the food, and feel good about ourselves. We want someone to feel good about themselves out here. They're probably in the worst situation of their life.
I'm still serving that purpose, just in a different role. Yeah, no worries. God bless. Yeah, have a great night. So around 7:15, we'll start walking around and finding people. And anybody's hungry, and we still have some, we hook them up. So look out for us next Monday. Here we go. Good for him. Yeah, absolutely. When you remove yourself out of the equation and it becomes more community driven, there's so much more fulfillment out of it. Helping others, this notion of selflessness, these things aren't incredibly hard. They're not. They're not lofty ideas or unattainable or scary. They're definitely doable. It's looking at others, not in a caste system, not as an inferior superiority or any kind of stereotype. That's what it really means to encompass the notion of selflessness. It can infiltrate every part of your life. My name is Jamison Ware, and I am an aviation rescue swimmer in the United States Navy.
I think why I've succeeded, or why I'm where I am today, is because of the passion that I bring to the table. I believe in creating a world better than I found it. I think that's what has given me the drive to make it in Navy EOD. I wanted to be a stunt woman. I wanted to have a life of adventure. I needed to be outside to experience the world instead of withering under some fluorescent lights. I wanted to shoot things, blow stuff up, jump out of airplanes, scuba dive. I wanted the romance of seeing what others haven't seen, or pushing myself to go places that I've never been before. I was already out in the world trying to make it. I was just going through emails. I saw an email from the Army Reserve. I thought to myself, I definitely want to be in the water. I knew that. Navy seemed like the way to go. So that drove me to the Navy recruiting office. They said the coolest things I could do was to be a search and rescue swimmer, Navy diver, or an EOD tech. I'd never heard what an EOD tech was. Turns out it was everything I wanted to do with stunt work. I felt like the universe was saying, like, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to do. Navy EOD techs are a very rare breed. Good morning, guys. Thank you for coming here and letting me give you a little lecture on XMCM and our piece of the pie. We're very specialized over a ton of different mission areas. We're willingly putting ourselves in harm's way to disarm explosive hazards and clear the way for follow-on forces to complete their missions. You're expected to maintain a high standard of training, and not only the mission area, but you need to be able to get to the problem. You could be diving down to 300 feet, jumping out of an airplane at 12,000 feet, or sliding down the fast rope over the deck of an aircraft carrier. You're going to be pushing yourself every day to hone your skills. We also take care of improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, which really forces you to be as creative as the person that created that device. And all you can see here is spalling. The magnesium really didn't have much effect. Our job isn't to go out and hunt down people or be a part of the problem. EOD is part of the solution. We're the nation's defense. I've been in the Navy for over 11 years now, and I worked very hard through my enlisted career to try and make it easier for those that came behind me. The day I was commissioned as a naval officer was a dream come true. But there comes a point where you need to be able to step back and take care of things outside of the mission.
Hey, babe.
My husband and I have spent a lot of time apart because we're both in the Navy, and we've always put our service first. Our marriage, our family has come second for a really long time.
Exciting that happens here. It's better when it's
He
nice, relaxed.
is also an EOD tech and is amazing because I get to come home and speak the same language. The dream is to settle somewhere, grow a family, grow a farm, and help out in a much different way. Helping other people who need my help, not just the ones who are in harm's way. At the same time, the sacrifices that my husband and I have made have given us the life that we have right now. I feel an amazing sense of pride in our ability to make such a difference in this world. And it's our job to make sure that everyone is safe. And that is a burden. But I can't imagine having it any other way. I'm Bree Koger, and I'm an Explosive Ordnance Disposal Officer in the United States Navy.
Good to go. Engage. Set sail well.
I always had kind of a vision or dream for myself. You know, there's something big in store for my life. I just didn't know how I would get there. During my childhood, my grandfather would tell me stories about my cousin Charles. He's one of the last few remaining Tuskegee Airmen. The story's pretty well known that they were not taken very favorably. They did not think the Tuskegee Airmen project was going to work, and that there was no way that, African Americans would be good pilots. Well, he was a member of, some of the best pilots that the Air Corps has ever seen. And so I just found it very interesting. I didn't realize there was like an underlying theme of aviation in my family. Thinking about myself being a pilot at that age? No. 17-year-old version of me was very anxious. A lot of the instability came from my mother and I relocating a lot, constantly moving from one apartment to another, and going from one school to another. And my father was not in the picture. I think I just had kind of grown tired of the instability. And I just kind of had this gut-wrenching feeling like this is wrong. You were going down the wrong path in life. There was this deep sense that I needed to make a change. Joining at 18, I didn't know much about the Navy. I was scared, I was nervous, I had no idea what I was really doing. I really didn't know what I was getting into.
Stay away from me, mate.
When I enlisted, the Navy recruiter offered this job as an aircraft electrician, and I was like, hey, maybe this will work out for me. I remember checking into my first squadron as an electrician, and I walked into the hangar bay, and I just remember kind of the smell of the jet fuel and the oil and the grease. I knew I was where I was supposed to be. The aviation was just kind of this lingering thought. I never really thought of it as a career path for me. You think about statistically, your background, your struggles, people like you don't make it that far. You don't make it to be pilots. That was when the reality really hit me. Started to look at the Navy as a way to catapult my life into something more. I saw an opportunity, and I was like, there's the next big step for Eric McGee. In flight school, you go through many phases, and I really dove into it. It's designed to be very fast-paced and arduous and to get you in, get you through, and you have to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. I immersed myself into it, I studied it, and it became my craft. Stay diligent, try and try again, making a decision, chipping away one step after the next after the next. You really just got to commit to that idea. That's how you make things happen for yourself. Fast forward a few years, here I am today, flying MH-60 Romeos for a living. We are an expeditionary squadron by nature. Our mission is primarily like anti-submarine warfare. We do a lot of intelligence gathering, reconnaissance, search and rescue. I mean, anything a helicopter can do, and then a lot more. Having served for 17 years now, I've gone through stages where the initial time in my service was more about me. Once I kind of established that for myself and goal setting, then I transitioned more into like, okay, how do I be a good leader? How do I set a good example for other people to follow?
Because I think all of us should have desires and goals that lead us in our growth, in our relationships. What you do is not only for yourself, it's for your family. What your family is for the community should be for our country. I'll just say life's a blessing.
You don't like it? Yeah, that's not nice.
Don't let circumstances be your excuse for not achieving.
My name is Eric McGee, and I'm a pilot in the United States Navy.
All right.
I'm putting that back. Right there. I'm acting myself out.
Yes, it's your turn again because you're blocking me. So it's your turn, kid.
Oh, yes.
Family, that's everything to me.
No!
My wife and my son, I don't think I could have gone this far without their support. You ain't gonna beat me. You ain't ever gonna beat me.
Go, one more game.
Oh, yeah. I hope I'm showing Joey by being in the Navy, like you can do whatever you can as long as you put your mind to it. Like my mom used to say, you believe to achieve. My mom, she was not the typical woman back then, you know, cooking, cleaning the house. She'd rather be out there fixing our vehicles and getting dirty. Me in an engine, she would have never thought that would have been my career. When I joined the Navy and told her I was gonna become an engineman, she's like, what made you pick that? And I was like, well, you, of course. My recruiter described being an engineman as being down in the ship, getting dirty, late working hours. I wasn't fazed by it. He's like, well, are you sure you want to become an engineman? Because it's mainly males. I was like, yeah, let's go for it. I don't know where this whole thing comes from, where being an engineman is a man's rate.
Visibility, $10 miles like they briefed. Outside support, we got TU on board.
I just think, you know, it's another job. What gender you are, that shouldn't matter. Out there, you have to be a team. And by me pushing past the stereotype, We can help each other out throughout the process. But I'm always willing to get my hands dirty no matter how hard of a job it is.
All right.
My team started looking to me as a leader.
Hey, it needs to be a 6 prop.
My son, he thinks it's awesome that I'm out there, you know, he says saving the world. But I just love coming through that door and seeing how supportive my family is of me.
Ouch. I tricked. I was trying to pull the wonder. Why? Because I'm cooking wrong. Oh, that's on Mom then. That's not on me. Excuse me.
That's a lot. The Navy has taken me to a lot of different places. South Africa, Cape Town, Portsmouth, England, Dubai, Bahrain. But as a mom, I feel like the Navy is allowing me to share so many experiences with him. I'm inspiring him to have his own adventures one day. We teach him now at a young age to set a goal and then work hard towards that goal. Press it.
I'm the best. I'm the greatest.
Believe to achieve. That's what I do. And now I've gone from being an engineman to driving the boat. Being on the Mark 6, our role is to protect high-value assets, aircraft carriers, destroyers. By doing that, as me being one of the very few female coxswains to ever drive this boat, I was like, man, this is what the Navy's about. Like, you get these challenges and you have to be able to succeed in them no matter what. My name is Desiree Martinez, and I am an engineman in the United States Navy.
Wait, look. That's not fair.
Even though we may be miles apart, you're always in my heart. And the idea is that you keep one and you send the other one to your little one.
I can't sit here and say that it was in any way easy to be away from my daughter. But at the same time, it felt like it was a step forward to getting out of where we were at.
La Pointe, Marquez, thank you for your service. I've been there, I've done it. I know what it feels like to be away from family, and I really do mean it from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate your service, okay? Thank you, guys.
Growing up in LA was not easy. My neighborhood was plagued by violence, drugs. My mom was always pushing towards getting out of the situation. That was always the goal. She would work long hours and constantly tell me that this is not what we needed to settle for. We always needed to do better. At the age of 18, when I got pregnant, for a second, I was like, this is it. This is where my life is going to end. I would have to put on Melissa what was put on me. I'm going to work extra hours, do everything my mom had done in hopes that she can get us out of the situation that we were in. I decided this was not going to be it. This was not going to be the end. I was working at my mother's restaurant. And in one occasion, I had some recruiters come in, and I was listening to the recruiters telling these recruits how great the Navy was, all these places they had gone, and all the benefits. And that right there was the trigger for me. I left for boot camp, and ever since then, it's been an adventure. In the Navy Reserve, I am a logistics specialist. There is a famous saying, which is you cannot fly without supply. I supply units with anything from uniforms to aircraft parts. In some cases, I've also been in charge of providing ammunition, ordnance to different branches. I've gone to Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Afghanistan, and I know that every single person that I've worked with, they have become my brother, my sister. Like with anything, when you start something new, it's scary. But I knew that this was for me, and this was not going to stop me from being a mother. The stone is blue because it popped out of the ground too soon. The Navy has various programs that help single mothers like myself. When I have been deployed, there hasn't been a moment where I didn't feel that I wasn't connected with my daughter in some way, shape, or form. I'd read to her any book that was available for me to read. His expression changed. His eyes widened. His jaw dropped open. His knees grew weak and wobbly. Suddenly, it was the bully who was scared. He began to whimper and squeal, and he thought, they're coming to get me. But there was nowhere to run. He just stood there, with his back up against his tree, with his schoolmates drew closer and closer and closer. I know Melissa knows that I'm doing it all for her. I'm doing it to do exactly what my mother was trying to do with me, to do better in life. The Navy Reserve gave me an opportunity to be a mother, be a sailor, and have a civilian career at the same time. The Navy most definitely has made me a better mom. Just seeing that drive that she has just because she sees that Mom is going places. She tells me, there's no way, Mom, that I can't outdo you. When she tells me that, it makes everything worth it.
I grew up with an amazing mother. She always worked so hard to afford me nice things and give me a good childhood. I admire my mom so much because of her unconditional love and patience.
I do have moments where I think I look at my mother, I look at my daughter, I look at myself, and I feel like I'm living a dream because I would have never thought that this would be our life today. My name is Ana Monterosa, and I'm a sailor in the United States Navy Reserve.
My story is being an underdog. Having the chance to prove the odds wrong is always a great feeling for me. My parents were in the Marine Corps. My mom for 22 years, and my dad served for 12 years. Soon after 9/11, my dad was stationed in San Diego, California. He was driving, and someone cut him off. His vehicle flipped, his neck snapped. The car was completely crushed, totaled. It's honestly a miracle that he survived. Being in a wheelchair couldn't stop him. All these positions and offices and boards that he's been able to sit on, if anything, it was a catalyst.
Because there's one secret. You'll never be fast enough because there's a secret that I have that you don't know.
Oh, you gotta be ready.
All right, put your hand back up.
Growing up, seeing my mom putting on her bootstrap, I just remember being so proud every time she came and picked me up from school and she would be in her uniform and I'd be like, that's my mom. I wanted to be just like her. She looked so powerful and she had a commanding presence in her uniform. And it was everything that I wanted for myself.
Sir, you now have 16 minutes to avoid information. Information goes inside company A at 0700. Unit report for morning course information is work includes the menu for morning meal is.
I chose to go to the Naval Academy because I wanted to be in the military and the prestige of the academy was attractive to me. The academics are rigorous. You're being trained in everything from the politics of China and Japan, the electrical engineering, physics, chemistry. This isn't your average college. We're getting prepared to go to sea for the world's most powerful navy. It's my turn to stand the watch now, passing the torch from one generation in the military to the other. I'll be happy to join that community with honor. My love for boxing came from watching boxing with my dad. I think it was me trying to bond with him. I knew I loved it.
Jab, duck straight down.
This month, we have our brigade championship coming up to see who the best boxers are.
Finish with the 2. Fast, fast, fast.
Going into a fight, every situation is different, so you have to adjust for their style to still get the job done. That's what my dad does, and that's what I try to do in the boxing ring.
Hey, well, look at you.
Hi.
How do you feel?
Fired up.
It took me a whole lot longer to get to the point where you are now. And you're off to a good start. You're off to a very good start. And I'm extremely proud of you that every hardship I've ever endured, if it meant for you to get to this point and have a shot, I will go back in time and endure it 10 times over. Everything happens for a reason. And I don't have a bad day in my life when I think about what it meant to get you to this point. That's what the pride really means to me.
I'll be fighting the team captain. She's a senior, and it's gonna be a really good fight. I'm gonna put my best foot forward for sure.
25-pound weight class in the women's category, coming to class 24, 20th Company, Kayla Dillard.
this out. Big deep breath, okay? I need you to get light on your feet. Okay. I need you to get light on your feet, okay? You look like you started to get gassed at the end of that round. You are not gassed, okay? We got 2 more rounds. Don't show the judges that, all right? Don't worry about the jab too much. And keep moving your head.
You'll never be fast enough because there's a secret that I have that you don't know. You know what the secret is? There's a direct line, shoulder, straight through. I'm thinking about my fist being connected to here, not to here. And they won't see it coming. By the time you pull it back, they've already been hit, and you set up the next shot.
There you go. Don't bring in the uppercut once you put your head down. Bounce on those feet, bounce on those feet. Nice job, way to finish. That was awesome. That was awesome. It was a close fight, all right? But it's within our reach. Thank you.
Here we go, our first bout, 125-pound weight class in the women's category. This split decision. Winner, the blue corner.
Let's go! Yes! Woo!
I didn't see that I would be a midshipman one day, or that this would be possible for me. We have a lot of demands daily. If everyone does their job and takes care of each other how we're trained to do, a genuine connection forms. It really does bond you as a family. So I feel proud to serve. The Navy has provided me a great opportunity of doing things I never could have done if I didn't go here. So it's already been a great adventure, and it's only going to get better from here. My name is Kayla Gillums, and I'm a midshipman at the U.S. Naval Academy.
Good boy! Good job, Chuck! Good boys! Yeah! You're so good. You got the best nose. You got the best nose. Yeah. Oh, you got it. Oh, you got it. Good boys. Let's go.
Growing up, I was just this very shy little girl. I think my parents did everything in their power to give us a very comfortable, tight-knit family lifestyle. We weren't really given the opportunity to venture out very far. I was never the real skinny girl or the real athletic girl. I was always just a little bit overweight, and it started to get worse as I got older. I never went out and did things with my friends outside, and I think that comes from being home all the time. There was so much to do at home. I never had a need to go out beyond those boundaries, and I really hid behind that. But it actually plays a huge role in who I am today, because I was able to find it within myself to dig deep and find my calling. So after high school, I pursued a career in law enforcement and went to police academy.
until I got older and realized that I felt like the Lord was calling me somewhere bigger. A lot of people think about serving and protecting their families and their loved ones in their hometown. But I think my goal was wanting to help other people on a big scale. I really wanted to pursue being the canine handler in the United States Navy. At the time, I was 24 years old, and that it was a complete contradiction of shy Rachel, and that was a huge step out of my comfort zone.
Still into clearing barrel?
So when they gave me orders to Japan, it was nerve-wracking, it was scary. Again, shy Rachel came out and wanted to hide in her shell, but if I wanted this, I had to be bold. I had to be bold in what I want. Being put with Chucky was probably the best thing that's happened to me so far.
Did you drink today? Okay, Chuck.
When I first met Chucky, I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. You go into this career thinking, I'm gonna have the most high-speed dog, I'm gonna have the most energetic dog, and my dog's gonna be so cool. But he always just wanted to sleep. He was always very lethargic and shy. I thought to myself, I don't know that this bond is gonna work. He kind of did remind me of myself.
Down. Sit.
Putting two timid creatures together sometimes doesn't work out very well.
Out. Chucky. Out.
But he's been the biggest blessing in my life.
Good.
Working with him has really molded me as a handler because it's required so much effort and energy on my end. With this line of work, you can't be reserved. You have to be out there, and this dog relies on you to give him the best of your ability. Even if I'm having a bad day, he relies on me to show him that I'm giving 100% as well.
Hey. Sit. Down.
I was able to find it within myself to be the motivation for this animal, as well as him be motivation for me.
Good boy. Do we have a good day, Chucky? Yeah, we did.
Hey.
Hello. You look good.
Thanks.
You look happy.
I am happy. Becoming a canine handler, it wasn't easy for me. It was a process. It was a process of failure and falling flat on my face and realizing it doesn't define who I am. Did you think like 2 years ago that I'd be where I am now?
No. No, I knew that you would advance rapidly in whatever you did. And I knew that you would never, ever quit. You were, I get emotional when I tell you because I'm proud of you in the sense of what is she going after next.
I think emotionally, mentally, physically, it gave me a lot of time to mature and to, pursue fitness and lose 75 pounds on my own and find a love for stepping out of my comfort zone. That's God's way of growing me. And it's been uncomfortable, but it's been really beautiful. We're all scared of the unknown. But I think that's also the beauty of it. The coolest part about My story is knowing that they chose me, Rachel. They thought that I was the best candidate for this job. And I think that's been my life journey, wanting to be accepted as me. As for Chucky, he's been there for me through so much. To be honest, I think he's taught me more than I've taught him. I've learned to be more open and honest with myself about what my goals are and really just go get all of them. My name is Rachel Higuera, and I'm a Master at Arms in the United States Navy.